Hi GS, this is Landon reporting in for the GS TV News on the last week of school. For announcements this week, there's not much, except for if anyone is interested in being on the homecoming committee, you should stop in room 352 prior to the end of the school year. We also have some neat independent stories coming up that you won't want to miss. But that's it for announcements. Now on the test with the weather.
Thanks, Landon. For weather today, it is a high of 78 and a low of 58. Saturday is a high of 83 and a low of 61. Finally, for Sunday, it is going to be a high of 86 and a low of 64. That's all for weather. Now on to sports with Elijah.
Thanks, Tessa. We have a short sports segment. Information is available outside of room 352 for any student interested in playing tennis next school year. Please contact Mr. Gazy with any questions. Now on to Tyler Swanson with current events.
Thanks, Eli. Now on to current events. With COVID cases and hospitalizations in Pennsylvania have continued to drop in recent days as the number of people vaccinated slowly rises. The Allegheny County Health Department reported 42 additional confirmed cases, 7 with the country's total reaching 101,378. This is the 12th consecutive day of reported cases under 100 in the country. The 7-day average cases has fallen down to 46, which hasn't been this low since June 27th, 2020, which since then everything has been lifted except a mask ban, so you still have to wear a mask. In other news, the Lynchfield pool opens today. In gaming news, the new Battlefield 6 reveal event is happening this June 9th. Well, that's it for current events. Now back to Landon in the studio.
Thanks, Tyler. Now on to our independent reports. First up, we have mine. Then after me, we have Jamie's. And after that, Nathan's. Stick around for them. I know they'll be good. Now, for my independent story, I researched, and I'm bringing to you a story about MOXIE, Mars, and making oxygen. So, my first point. MOXIE is the Mars Oxygen In Situ, which means in situation, resource utilization experiment. This little toaster-sized instrument could be the key we needed for that space-leaping dream we've all had. Now, because it was just an experiment and a first for NASA, it produced about 5 grams of oxygen, which is about 10 minutes worth of the breathable stuff from the straight 96% carbon dioxide Mars atmosphere in just 2 hours, when it can actually produce up to 10 grams an hour. Now, before I get ahead of myself, let's get on to my second point, Mars. This little toaster that could rode aboard NASA's Perseverance rover all the way to Mars and landed on February 18th and ran this first test on the 60th Sol, or 60th Martian day. This is NASA's second rover to be on Mars, and with it have come a lot of firsts. Now you might be thinking about my third point, making oxygen. To wait 60 Martian days to start testing and only generate 10 minutes worth of oxygen in 2 hours doesn't seem like enough for the astronauts who would be going up to Mars. And that would be right, except NASA has already explained this away. Since oxygen is also vital to make rocket fuel, about 15,000 pounds or 7 metric tons of rocket fuel, which you'll need 55,000 pounds of oxygen or 25 metric tons for the trip to Mars and home, and astronauts would only need about 1 metric ton of oxygen for a year on Mars. NASA has explained that bringing a 1-ton descendant of MOXIE to generate all of the mission's oxygen needs would be far superior to bringing that amount of oxygen and fuel on the trip to Mars. And that big bad 1-ton MOXIE would be plenty capable of doing that. So GS, that's it for my MOXIE, Mars, and making oxygen independent story. I hope you enjoyed. Now back to the studio.
Good morning, GSTV3. My name is Jamie Michael, and I am reporting about a new game that will release on 12/31/2021. The game name is Dying Light. This game is about a zombie virus outbreak. The last great human settlement exists within an unforgiving, infected world plunged into a modern dark age. During the day, benefit factions and starving survivors roam the streets, scavenging for scraps or someone to take them from by violence if necessary. At night, the infected roam free, evacuating their dark hideouts to prey on the living. The game is based off an outbreak that will ruin the world. Now, that's the end of my game report. Now, back to the studio.
Everyone's ready for summer, and with that, amusement parks and other fun activities will be opening up. First of all is Kennywood. Will be opening up with all of its fun carnival games and amusement park rides. Along with Kennywood will open Wild and Sandcastle. Make sure you follow all their guidelines and have fun and safety on their rides. But if you're not into carnival rides, you could also go to St. Clair Park. They're going to be having some bands performing for early June, so make sure that you have some fun and follow guidelines. And most of all, stay safe.
Wow, can you believe those stories? Well, anyways, that's it for the news this final week, GS. Have a great summer.